Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Focus TV. Joined as always by Octavia Wyatt. We got Raymond Lyons, Cardell Dudley Jr., Wilson Tarbay Jr. And as you guys saw, it was that season. We got the NBA Finals going on. Kind of like the official start of draft season for some folks, with folks coming in, players going into teams, getting their workouts in. So, as always, we've been telling you guys for the last couple of weeks, there is way too much going on at this moment, but we're looking forward to it. Got a lot of stuff to get through tonight. We're going to start with the Mystics. Ray, let you lead off here. Again, if you guys already follow us, with Mystics Outlook. After every game, we tweet through the game. Join us with Focus TV on Twitter, and then afterwards, we'll have the links available for Mystics Outlook. We enjoyed the discussion after the Liberty game. It was a bit frustrating. A couple players talked today, and they would echo those sentiments that it was as frustrating as it was watching it, going through it when you look at the result. So, Ray, your thoughts on what happened in New York this over the weekend?
Yeah, they played the Liberty on Saturday. Things started out good, but eventually kind of snowballed out of control. They were up 18 at the half, ended up losing by 3. The offense just kind of hit a brick wall in the second half. They scored 28 points in the first quarter. In the second half, they scored 28 points. So that just kind of tells you what that game was like as it moved on. The first half they came out blazing. The ball was moving crisply. Tina was doing her thing on the defensive end. They were getting stops, causing turnovers, getting live ball turnovers and converting defense to offense. But kudos to the Liberty, man. They just stayed the course, put their heads down and got to work. Eventually their offense got going. But Delaney, she's been on the tear the whole season, and she eventually woke up. Their defense, man, they started double teaming Tina more aggressively, and then the ball movement just wasn't there in the second half. That was leading to those good looks they had early in the game, and New York just walked them down. Man, their offense got more crisp. We say a lot of times, for some teams, the defense feeds the offense. If you're able to get stops, it kind of gives you some juice on the other end, and the rim gets bigger, and you just get more comfortable as the game went on, and that just kind of what happened on Saturday. And also, Washington's still dealing with a lot of injuries, so they had 8 active, which seemed like a whole nother team compared to the 6 active they had last Tuesday against Connecticut. But even with a couple extra bodies, the Liberty still were able to kind of wear them down, because Shatori, she just came back, so she's just kind of get back into the swing of things. She didn't play a lot of minutes, but yeah, man, it was a frustrating loss. During the time when they need to be stacking up wins. They're really just trying to get to this break, as we've been saying, but during that process, it's not like you can just kind of throw away games. You still got to stay in the thick of things. So yeah, it's not a good thing to drop a game, especially a game like this, which you firmly had in hand. But yeah, man, as the saying goes, you're playing against professionals, and New York, they didn't go away, and they were eventually able to climb out the hole in the second half and get the win.
Yeah, and even today, just after availability, during the availability, rather, I think Shavante talked about it a little bit, so did Coach T. It's about focusing on the big picture, which, you, Cardell, myself have heard from them almost all year. They've been kind of consistent. Coach T's been kind of consistent with he never expected to see Elena before the break. Should be not, I know people continue to ask, but as far as that goes, that's kind of that's one of the few things that's on track this year. It's one of the few things from the beginning. You didn't expect her, even with Emma. If she pops up this season, it was after the break. So again, they still kind of. We've been saying the focus is get to the break, get to the other side of it. One of the big things that came out today, the male practice players, they're finally allowed to be used in the league, which is something for those that don't know. I know we've mentioned it on this show, months ago, but typically that's how teams get their reps in. Their practices with that type of contact, and that's been missing for all the teams this year. And if you're a team without bodies, and you take away able-bodied people that don't play in games that could allow you to help get you through practice, kind of hurts a little bit. But bottom line, got a big game against Chicago on Saturday. It's very, very tall task. Everybody knows what that what that pertains, and hopefully they can get a win and get into the break. If not, the standings are ever changing. Bottom line, they got a hole to dig out of, whether they win on Saturday or they don't on the other side of the break. That's a fact. There's no, you don't get 4 points if you win on Saturday. You don't get 4 wins, you get 1 if you win. And if you lose, it's still just 1 loss regardless. So whatever happens on Saturday, work still has to be done. Quick injury update. Maisha Hines-Allen probably won't be available for Saturday. Cloud did practice, so she's up in the air. But again, kind of their mindset gets on up to the other end of the break. So the other side of the break, they expect to have the team that they anticipated going into the year with. That team. Cardell, did you have anything else you wanted to add to the Mystics, or keep moving? All right. With that, we're going to take our first break. When we get back, DC United beat Toronto FC 7-1. Toronto FC's coach was fired the next day. The 7 goals were the most in team history. All 7 goals were scored by a different player. So we're going to get into all that fun after the break. And again, before we get to DC United, Coach Popovich had availability today, because today was the first official practice as the U.S. men's national team getting together to prepare for the Olympics. So we'll hear a little bit from Coach Pop, some DC United, and we're just going to literally go put the goals on and let y'all just watch. And I'm going to watch with y'all and add some commentary, and that's tough, man. And the last time, this is kind of tough, the last time this coach got fired at his previous job was after a loss in DC United. And then when DC United was looking for a coach, he was one of the candidates, and they just couldn't agree to terms from a monetary standpoint, according to several reports. And, DC United, a lot of people being petty, felt like supporters being petty, felt like obviously the right decision was made. Things worked out, because that's a tough way to lose your job. It's a tough way.
He's never coming back to DC.
And the worst part is, one of the guys who won MVP, I think the guy who won the MVP last year of the league comes off the bench for Toronto. Like, they have talent. So that's the other tough part. It's not like you took over a team void of talent. Like, you took over something we're supposed to come in and continue ripping and running, maybe take it to the next level, and it crashed it. So, you're here. But we're going to take our first break. Stay away from being petty. You're watching Focus TV. We'll be right back.
The other thing
whoever that is
important for today is
not him.
seeing where we're at, wind-wise, conditioning-wise, not really knowing what every player has been doing for himself. So making an assessment of where we are physically was important. And then getting in some basic offense and defense, the philosophy of how we want to play and all that sort of thing. So those are the things we concentrated on the first day.
The second part of what I was going to ask you was, I'm sure there's no easy way to do it. These guys, yes, they know each other, but you're going to need great chemistry to accomplish what you want to accomplish. How do you sort of fast track that process and make these individuals a team? Thank you.
Well, one way, I hope to do that is to make sure everyone understands the competition. Having a healthy respect for the wonderful European teams is important because there are a lot of very good teams and they get better every year. They've been playing together for many years, as we all know. They execute really well. And the first step is that respect for the opponent, which will not be hard to get across to our players. After that, we go to work, skip no steps, and make sure that we keep it simple but efficient and effective. Trying to invent the wheel will not work. We've got to take advantage of their abilities, their strengths, and play together, play for each other with one thought in mind. And that's winning the whole deal.
Hey, Coach Pop, this is Raphael from the 3-point conversion. Coach, with today's NBA, how the last 4 to 5 years, it's more of more versatility than it has been. And we don't necessarily play the, big man like we did in the past. Do you think that bode well for this Olympic team now that you're playing in this competition and you're used to the type of style?
I think so. All the other teams outside the country, they're all much more versatile also. There are people that are exceptions. A guy like Jokic who can shoot threes and he can play on the block. There aren't really that many people like that in the world. The game has, progressed, whether for good or bad, to the point where that versatility is on every team. It's not a down low, inside out game anymore. It's perimeter oriented.
A quick follow-up.
Sure.
Oh, I'm sorry. A quick follow-up. I was going to ask, what have you taken from each year you've been here from 2002 to now that you can say, okay, now I'm using this today to help me?
Well, it begins with, as I mentioned earlier, a true, healthy, honest respect for the fact that these teams are really good. They're talented. They have more NBA players every year. They're wonderfully coached. There's so many good coaches. They've been running what they do for many years together. They're a family. It's important to them. So that is the very first and most important step to getting it done. After that, playing for each other, sharing the basketball, no one trying to be a hero will work best against the foreign teams.
11 of the 12 guys are coming off of great years for sure. And then, Kevin Love isn't. but he's here, and obviously he's got a skill set that fits with what you guys want to do. But what was it for you that you wanted him to be on board?
You just mentioned his versatility. First of all, he's been there before. It gives us a player who's been through it. And his skill set is such that he can rebound, he can step out as a 5-man and shoot the 3. And that really gives us another tool that we can use. You're right. We all know he didn't have a great year, but he's worked diligently to get his body ready for this. He wanted to do it badly, and we have a need for his skills. So we thought he was a perfect person to, play against people like Gobert to get them out of the lane. Because as you know, there's no defensive 3 seconds and the lanes are packed. So spreading the court is very important. And depending on what happens in a game like that, he could be very valuable.
Welcome back to the Focus TV. It's never a dull moment, obviously, here listening to Coach Pop, because, anything can turn, any question, any comment can turn things into a very, very fun adventure. So I think we're all going to enjoy that going forward. That said, going to DC United, as we mentioned before the break, the 7-1 victory. Ron, if you don't mind queuing that up, let's get through these 7 goals, man. Shout out to one of the youngsters, Kevin Paredes. He got his first career goal this game, so we'll get started there, man. They didn't waste any time. Like, they scored within a minute in. I think in the stats it said the second minute. But you guys are about to see right now with this clock. Andy Nahar connecting with Julian Gressel, nice little 1-2. Gets outside, delivers a really nice ball across the box, and the youngster put it into the back of the net. He goes crazy. He's been excited. He was saying after the game, like, in the academy level, was on his way working up to the first team. He's bagging like 15 goals a year, so he's been itching to get his first goal. Obviously, for anybody heard what I said, I'm not saying Paredes is about to score 15 goals. Just saying the kid's a goal. He was a goal scorer on his way up to the first team, and he enjoyed that moment. Last week it was Moses Nyman delivering a dime to Nigel Roberta. This week is Junior Moreno. The guy at the bottom of the screen in white kept Nigel onside. So, that's one of the things that stumped for Toronto. It looked like it was offside, but the flag stayed down because I believe it was Kamar Lawrence, when they get to this replay, wasn't paying too much attention, and everyone paid for it. Put Mr. Bono, the keeper, in one of the worst positions in all of soccer, all by yourself, off your line, with the forward is the last place you want to be. And here's Andy Nahar again. Gets the ball to Russell Canales. Wasn't a great shot, but it bounced off a couple defenders. It goes in. When things are going your way, things are going your way. If you're Toronto, when things are going bad, they tend to just get worse. It wasn't the greatest of shots. It was an own goal, but it counts. This sloppy giveaway from DC United. Michael Bradley finds Akinola. Obviously, he wasted no time, making sure that he got his team on the board. That was kind of it for Toronto. Like, it was this. It was this. This was the only sloppy pass they kind of took advantage of. To be honest, DC United had several times playing out the back that was kind of bad. But this time it's Andy Nahar connecting with Paul Arriola. Gets a step on the defender, takes a touch, beats the keeper. And look, man, the place was going crazy. I can only imagine. But it was a really rough night. I kind of felt bad for the keeper at one point, but it's just like that sometimes. It should have been completed, but here we are, 77th minute. And Paul Arriola looked like he was about to get number 2. This defender pulls him down. It was a second yellow. He gets ejected. 2 yellows equal a red, means bye-bye. Your team's playing 1 man down. I mean, the game was essentially over anyways, but DC United was not done. They were like, we got, what, the whistle goes off about 90 minutes. We got some time left. As you guys see, there was going to be nothing but space and opportunity for Paul if he wasn't pulled down like this. He has a little bit of giddy up in his step, so he was going to be gone. It was a really nice pass from Yamil, but again, we've been talking the past couple weeks how DC United's been doing a great job of creating chances, but haven't capitalized. This one's beautiful. Griffin Yao clears the ball. Kamara just came in the game for Roberta. He scores, came off the bench, got him a goal really quick. He had a goal called back, but they were in their bag, as you see. But they're not done. There's more. Moses Nyman finding Paul Areola to the back post. Yamil Assad with the header. They're having a great time. They're having a wonderful time. Toronto clearly isn't, but this is number 6. And again, Ola Kamara had a goal called back. So he almost came off the bench and scored too. So that kept it from being 8. This is Kamara finding Griffin Yao. And this is beautiful because of the sheer ignorance. Look where he takes a shot. He could have passed it to somebody. It's the ignorance. I love it for the ignorance. This is how you're supposed to act as a forward. You see that slim pocket between the goalie and the post? It's to let you know this is how I feel about you. On the whole, it was wonderful for the youngster and for DC United as a whole. They got some time off as far as it goes MLS play. With this break coming up, their next game is not till July 17th against the Philadelphia Union. But they are participating in the Capital Cup. That's taking place this week. Games are July 7th, the 11th, and the 14th. So get over to DCUnited.com to check out their schedule for those games. But yeah, man, 7 goals. That was kind of bad. But Toronto.
It sucks being caught on long joints too. Being in the game when they I do feel bad for the goalie because it's terrible to be out there and you can't stop nobody and you can't throw in the towel.
Oh no. That clock's going to bleed. No mercy rule. It got to go all the way to 90. And it was 4 minutes of stoppage time. They had to go to 94 minutes of change. You got to wear all that.
45 minutes and a half. You're like, oh my God, is this over? Yeah, that's tough.
It was and they missed some opportunities too. But again, this was a step in the right direction. They're not going to score this much every game. But like I've been telling you guys, they've been able to create. And we all know just in sports sometimes, even when you're creating, or if it's a different sports, basketball, if you're creating wide open looks, it's a matter of time before they fall. What's important is you're creating the open looks, right? So, these goals all ended up in the back of the net. Tough for Toronto, for DC United, get to move up the standings a little bit. They've already tied their number of wins from last year to this point already. So, not exactly too bad. But to the 9-4-50 breakdown, Jamal Hayward this week. We'll be breaking down utilization of pass fakes when coming off screens. Again, utilization of pass fakes when coming off screens, something to keep an eye on tonight. Watching Chris Paul in the final, so keep an eye on this. And again, Jamal Hayward, followed by the second break when we get back. Gonna talk a little, Cardell's gonna share a little bit on the Wizards prospects that came in today to work out for them.
Pass fakes coming off screens. This is something that you can utilize against athletic teams that jump pump fakes, jump the pass fakes. They really want to get. They're really serious about getting deflections. So their anticipation level is really high. So pass fakes are good. Moving the ball, going against zones, especially in college and stuff like that, high school as well, and at the pro level as well also too. So we're going to work on that coming off screens right now. So this defender right here is going to be my screen, my ball screen right here. So I'm going to start with my right hand, and I'm going to come off the screen on downhill towards the middle. So I can set up my hand any kind of way here, coming down, backing down. Doesn't really matter. Pop over, coming over here. Now make sure when you come off this screen, you want to get your hip and your shoulder as close as possible to this defender here, low as possible. So now when I'm coming off here, let's just say that's a real active man right here. He's going to roll down that slot area right here. So as I'm driving here, the normal motion is to hit that man if he is open. So now, to set up the pass fake, once I come off, sure, what that does is it's going to make that defense sink into that person rolling. Even the person that's guarding you that gets hit by the screen, they can start recovering and try to get into that lane that you're making that pocket pass for that roller. So you use that pass fake, it draws into him, you have a wide open shot. Let's look at it live. Let's look at it live. Now, as you can see, when I did that pass fake, I exaggerated. The shoulder of the ball, stepping up my right foot to come pass fake to my right. Here, get square back up, shot. I can do the same thing starting in the middle, coming off the ball screen. My pass fake will go either to the middle or the corner. So right now we're going to work on it going towards the corner. So I'm here. Pass fake to the corner, shot. That's how you utilize the pass fake when coming off the screens. It's very useful, okay?
Welcome back to the Focus TV. As always, special thanks to 9450 Breakdown. Jamal Hayward knocking that out each and every week, man. We truly enjoy it. All right, the Washington Wizards, you guys saw at the beginning of the show, you know, that opening clip, a little bit of B-roll from the pre-draft workout today. Cardell, if you want to let everyone know exactly who they had in the building, what they got going on tomorrow, and just all things, man. Again, draft time's coming. We got the finals, off-season, everything, Olympics, Olympic break, NFL, fun times.
Yeah, as everybody knows, NBA draft season. Obviously, the combine just ended, so teams are conducting, you know, their workouts for selected players. Some are group workouts, some are individual workouts. But for the Washington Wizards, they have one pick in this draft, which is in the first round. So they're trying to do their due diligence and making sure they make the right selection. We all know what the deal is. Bill's coming up close to that time where he's going to have to make a big decision. You know, Russell Westbrook is at that age where he got to see where he would like to be as far as moving forward in the future. If this is the right franchise, if certain moves are made, if they're not kind of building towards winning. So this draft is pivotal. You know, they need a player that can come in and contribute right away. It's no secret that last season they lacked a lot of athleticism up front. That's why the Gafford addition was so huge, you know, with his athleticism and motor. It helped the Wizards make a run into the playoffs when, you know, the first half of the season looked like that wasn't the case. It wasn't a reality. And it's no secret that in today's draft, you know, it was athletic, big man heavy. You know what I mean? Charles Bassey, 6'11". They got him listed as a center, but obviously in the league, he'll probably go between the 4 and the 5 out of Western Kentucky. Greg Brown III out of Texas, 6'9", super athletic. He might be one of the most athletic players in the draft, you know, if not all of college basketball. Local product, Lake Francis from Northern Virginia. He played at Richmond, 6'4", 175-pound guard, scoring machine. That's the best way I could put it. I know he's small, but he put the points on the board. He led Richmond in scoring last season. Jay Huff, 7'1", center out of Virginia. He's kind of what you see in the league, stretch big, basically. You know, step out all the way to three-point range, get hit it consistently. But he could put the ball on the floor and score and post up and go to work with that as well. Kobe Ross out of Pepperdine, 6'1" guard, very shifty, crafty point guard. You could tell he got a lot of Trae Young in his game. You could tell he watches him a lot because if you watch him, you can pull up the film on, you know, YouTube or whatnot if you haven't seen him play. He has the same kind of feel and same kind of attack when he's playing. And Isaiah Todd, you know, Baltimore product, 6'10", 210-pound forward. To me, he's a tweener between a 3 and a 4. He has a small forward skill set, but he has a power forward size and athleticism. He played for the G League Ignite last year. Came straight out of high school. He was the first class with that. So all in all, you can kind of see what today's workout was all about. They wanted to get a lot of bigs in there. that they obviously value, that they obviously think has potential, and let them weed themselves out. May the best man win. That's what these workouts all about. And if you check these guys out, their interviews that we have up on the FocusTV.com, my mind on sportsfocus.com, on finestmagazine.com. If you check them all out, that's what they said. The workout was to break them down, and they wanted to see if they can push through. They wanted to see if they were mentally tough as well, if they can shoot consistently while they were fatigued. So it was just it was to test their wills, man. So all the players loved it. From what I understand, hearing the interviews and people in the gym, they said pretty much all the players, they came to play. So that's good. For tomorrow, the list is kind of a lot of local products. You got Troy Baxter Jr. out of Morgan State. 6'9", 200-pound forward. He's another super athletic forward. Like I said, it's a theme. They definitely trying to get more athletic. You're gonna probably see a lot of these athletic bigs coming throughout the pre-draft process. Local guard out of UMass Lowell, Obadiah Noel. Spoken about him plenty of times on this show. One of the most underrated guards and players in all of college basketball. Can do it all. Jamarco Pickett out of Georgetown. He will probably be a 3 at the next level, but at Georgetown, he played both 4 positions, 6'9", 206. Has all the perimeter skill in the world. I'm probably gonna need to get a little bit stronger for the pro level, which I'm pretty sure he's working on in the pre-draft process. I think his versatility will make him intriguing to a lot of teams, including this one, because you need that. You need guys that can defend on the perimeter as well, step out, hit jumpers, be able to post up, be able to make plays off the bounce. And that's what his game is. And Devontae Shuler, former Oak Hill product, did his thing with Ole Miss, highly explosive scoring guard. So that's who's on deck for tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Obviously, follow us on social media. I have clips up, I have feedback, interviews, all that, so let's get to it. As for the NBA playoffs, the conference finals wrapped up. Obviously, the Suns finished off the Clippers in 6 games, 130-103. Chris Paul made sure Phoenix wouldn't be denied. He posted 41 points and 8 assists with 4 rebounds. This got to be a record: 66% shooting from the field and 87% shooting from three-point range with no turnovers. I can't even think of a point guard that did that in the history of the game. I see why Patrick Beverly pushed him. You know what I mean? I'd have been mad too, because it was like he was in the gym by himself. But the conference finals game, it was his game, man. He made sure they weren't gonna come back. He made sure he was gonna get to the finals, and he took over. And that's what great players do. It was flawless basketball. Paul scored 31 points in the second half, including 19 in the fourth quarter. I could keep on about what players did, but pretty much that was the Chris Paul game. So what are your thoughts on the series? We're going to start with you, Octavia.
Just the stat line you said is just enough right there, to be completely honest. Like, Chris Paul, like you said, he was determined not to be denied. This is this is going to be his first finals. And I'm sure somewhere back in the back of his mind, he's thinking that this is, probably my best shot. I'm here. Not to say that he can never get back, but, it took him 16 years to get here. But all in all, like the series, I felt like it would have been a great series. It was a great series. Don't get me wrong. It was a great series. But I just felt like at the end, like you said, Chris Paul just would not be denied, the entire time, even when they were up 3-1 and they were going to close it out. And then the Clippers ended up winning, that was, kind of probably haunting to him. We know his track record with, losing this close to the finals. So I applaud him for going out there and doing what he needed to do. Even when, like he talked about, people counting him out, people thought that, when he got to OKC, that would just be where he ended his career. But I'm pulling for him. I think that they have a really good, complete team. And since you brought it up, the whole Patrick Beverly thing, I just thought was, just terrible. Like, yeah, we talk about how emotional it is to play in a game, but that was just downright just a slap in the face to the game of basketball, in my opinion. they even said it in the game. Like, you know, we all say it all the time. Like, it's not fun when a rabbit got the gun. You know, he was in Chris Paul ear the entire game. You know, he making fun of him when he falls. You know, doing his little skip dance or whatever. And you know, and then when Chris Paul comes back and you know gives him, you know, not even a taste of his own medicine, because when they showed the clip, he didn't even say anything to him. He just looked at him and walked past. You know, and then this stupid apology that he did on Twitter, I thought was weak as well. You know, I didn't mean it. It wasn't for you. Who was it for? It wasn't for him. I don't know who he was aiming on pushing, but you know, I just thought that was really classless. But all in all, like that showed you how much that they got in their head and they were able to pull away, and it was over. You know, once Chris Paul, you know, got in his bag and he was hitting from everywhere. You know, we talked about him being a mid-range assassin, but he was behind the three-point line knocking it down as well during that game. And they did a lot of that. I believe Cam Johnson didn't even play. You know, he's their three-point shooter as well. He didn't play. So it just shows you how much they really wanted it. And you know, Paul George didn't have enough. You know, definitely, I'm sure they missed with Kawhi not being there. But again, you got to play who's in front of you, and that's what the Phoenix Suns did, and they deserve to be in the finals.
Yeah, I'm with you, Octavia. You know, I mess with Pat Bear, but if you're going to play like that, if you're going to be the goon and get up, try to rile people up, get up in their face, talk all that, man, you got to be man enough to take the ass with them. You know what I mean? And, you know, I think it was just, it was weak. It was because and it could have started a brawl. You know what I'm saying? They could have fired off on them and got into it, but it would have hurt them for this series. I'm glad they were smart enough to realize that. And he was trying to get in Devin Booker. I think at first he kind of bothered Booker. He had a couple of bad games at the beginning of the series, but eventually Booker, that's what you do with guys like that. You just don't pay him any mind, you hoop. And then eventually you break their will. You know what I mean? And when you break their will, you see how they usually react. And, you know, we've had guys throughout the league like that. You know, we had a team, a championship caliber team. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, that went like that. So, nah, and that apology, man, come on, man. Look, you did it. I would respect if you just owned it. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're going to apologize, go up to him man to man in the locker room and do it post game. You see what I'm saying? If he don't want to rock with it, then it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? But nah, he lost some cool points across the league because, you know, even all the people who I've listened to, talked to about it, yeah, and everybody brought that up. It was just weak, man. You know what I'm saying? So, but regardless, you know, Chris Paul, I know he ain't tripping because at home, and you can watch him in the final. So he got the last laugh. Raymond, what are your thoughts on the series?
Man, it was hard for a series, fun to watch. I enjoyed every minute of it. That game 6 from Chris Paul, that was big time, man, because like I know we talked about after the Clippers won game 5, you know, the last thing you want is for them to tie this thing up 3-3 and get into a game 7. And Chris Paul made sure that didn't happen. You know, down the stretch, he just chopped their head off, you know, and I'm sure that was a fulfilling moment for him, you know, to get to his first finals in 16 years. I'm not even sure if he thought he would be here. You know, Octavia brought up the him going to OKC. That looked like kind of pretty much a dead end situation, but you know, he brought that team to life. He gathered them youngsters, and now he's in a position to win the NBA championship. So you know, that just shows the caliber of player he is. You know, the one thing that's missing from his resume is a championship, you know. So he has opportunity to put that feather in his cap. You know, as far as the series all around, I think you know, I think both teams played well, man. You know, the Phoenix, they just got it done. You know, the Clippers, they were obviously down Kawhi, but you know, they were still formidable without him. You know, down Phoenix, they came out, got the first 2 games. A lot of things have been brought up about the adjustments the Clippers have made, you know, in their previous series, and it looked like it was about to go that way again. But Phoenix came right back and made some adjustments of their own. You know, Chris Paul started attacking more and you know, being more aggressive as the series went on. I think that was the difference, man. When you got somebody that can put pressure on your defense like that, and is an excellent decision maker, it isn't that much you can do because he's just going to pick you apart. And yeah, I'm definitely with y'all on the Patrick Beverly thing. You know, if that's the reputation you want to have, to be the irritant, you know, but then, you know, as soon as things don't go your way, you do some sucker stuff like that. Like he pushed that man in the back like this was the third grade and they was on the playground. Like, dog, that's not tough, man.
Yeah.
And then,
like
you know,
go in front of his face and push, bro. Like man to man, we can defend ourselves.
Right, man. Then, you know, Chris Paul, mission accomplished, because you saw right after he pushed him, he got up and was cheering that he got thrown out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure Patrick Beverly felt stupid, you know, and that's why he put out that BS apology. Like, and then, like you said, Cardell, like, if you go and apologize, own the whole thing. Like, he said it wasn't meant for you. You pushed him in the back, dude. Like,
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, who was it meant for, bro?
How you push the wrong person? Like,
who was it meant
what
for?
Are you talking
That's
about,
what
man?
you should have put it. I meant to pitch Frank Kaminsky. I'm sorry. Like, come on, bro.
Like you got torched. You was in your feelings, and you responded like a chump. It is what it is, man. So yeah, if you want to do that, you gotta be able to dish it out, and you gotta be able to take it. You know, like when I know Steph Curry one time, Chris Paul was kind of getting at him and did the little shimmy, and Steph was like, "Man, if you gonna shimmy on people, you gotta expect to get shimmy." So it is what it is. You know, you can't resort to that type of nonsense. So and yeah, and like Cardell said, that could have turned into an ugly situation. You know, and as much as we, you know, revere the physicality and you know, and the toughness of previous eras, I mean, the violence shouldn't be glorified, man. You gotta be smart. You gotta do what's best for your team. You know, and like nobody got hurt. It was a sucker move, definitely. I wouldn't have been surprised if somebody knocked his head off, but it's best for the game if that situation went the way it went. So yeah, man, I'm looking forward to these finals. You know, Milwaukee, they already know what's ahead of them. Chris Paul is obviously on one, so you know, I hope they're ready.
Wilson.
Yeah, the Suns did what they were supposed to do. I mean, I think it took a little too long, but it is what it is. They're in the finals, deservedly so. They had some clear advantages over the Clippers, especially with Kawhi out. They had an Ayton problem down there because they didn't really have anything to match up with them. And then as for Pat Bev, like, I'm trying to figure out how you had that much energy in the tank when dude put 31 on somebody's head in the second half. So that's just really interesting to me.
He should have been
really,
running
I
to the
guess,
bench
like-
to sit down and take a break.
From a decision standpoint, what were you saving said energy for, sir? I don't quite understand it, but it's okay. You got time, off season, whatnot. Also, you know, we know who's in that front office over there. I wish you the best. Maybe we'll see you on that team next year. Maybe we won't. Be like that sometimes.
For the Bucks side of things, they handle business without Giannis, and then the Hawks run with a 118-107 win. Drew Holiday, who's amazing in the two games without Giannis, scored 27 points, handed out 9 assists, and grabbed 9 rebounds while adding 4 steals and 2 blocks. Chris Middleton, you know, who I've been critical of in the past years, stepped up throughout the entire postseason, especially in these 2 games without Giannis, and dropped 32 points. 23 points came in the third, 7 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals in the win. What are your thoughts on the series? We're going to start with you this time, Raymond.
Another good series, man. Outside of I think one game got out of hand where Milwaukee just blitzed them, but yeah, man, it was good to see Atlanta, you know, advance this far. You know, they don't have anything to be ashamed of. They I feel like they kind of were ahead of schedule, you know, with how well their season went. You know, I know me, Wilson, and Octavia has talked about their potential, but I didn't expect them to kind of come together like this early. But yeah, man, Milwaukee, they got him up out of there. You know, like you said, you brought up Chris Middleton. You know, we talked last year about, you know, when he's contributing like this, they're a completely different team, and for him to step up even without Giannis, it's really impressive, man. And I think, you know, of course, people, you know, they want to say, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. But I think Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best player in the league. And I think, you know, Giannis is the best people start talking this stupid stuff when the superstar goes down, the team still performs. Are they better without their best player? The answer is always no. But it makes them a different team. I feel like they're a little harder to prepare for and harder to guard with with how they played those last two games. But of course, you want Giannis out there. I mean, he's one of the most unstoppable players in the league. Like, it's ridiculous to think that they would think they're better off, with him in street clothes. But I just think it presented a different challenge for Atlanta with with Drew getting more aggressive, and of course with what Middleton brought. And then Brook Lopez, with Giannis out, he kind of moved more closer to the basket, and he's not fun to deal with down there, and was extremely effective. So yeah, man. Kudos to Milwaukee. They've people been on their necks the last couple of years. They've been talked about as one of the premier teams in the East with good reason, but they always fell short in the playoffs. They finally got into the finals, and I'm sure they're hungry as well. Giannis's health is going to be a thing. I think they say he's in GOAT tonight, but who knows how close to 100% he is. But hopefully he can get out there and compete. And they're just looking to a great finals, man. I think these teams match up well.
Wilson.
Brook Lopez, we've been screaming about it for a while. He's one of the best slow post scorers in the league. Atlanta found that out the hard way when he's not stuck out 25 feet deep taking threes. He's a whole problem, and he gave them every bit of post work that he wasn't allowed to give to people because he's been camped out shooting threes. We saw that the rest of Milwaukee's kind of tough. It's why people felt, the addition to PJ, things like that, we're going to put them over the top. How about Bobby Portis? Oh, yeah, there's one of those over there. Played a big role in this. It's a deep team. Not surprised that they won, like you guys mentioned with Atlanta. It's a little early for them, but the one thing Atlanta needs to do, you better stop playing around with this John Collins contract. Pay that man and figure everything else out in life later. Stop playing around. Stop.
Octavia.
I definitely agree with both of you. I think that, for them to even go out there and win the last two games without Giannis shows a lot. It shows that, they can win games even if their best player is not playing or not playing well. I definitely think the key for them is Drew Holiday being aggressive. We see I feel like they play better when he's more aggressive. And that's on the offensive side and the defensive side. When he's playing defense all up in them and not really giving them anywhere to go, you can see Kevin Huerter couldn't do anything. It was hard for Bogdanovich. It was hard for, Trae Young. The fact that their coach, came out and said that between Lou, Kevin, and Trae, that he was going to let them decide who was going to bring the ball up, depending on who was not being guarded by Drew Holiday. So that says a lot of how, much they respect Drew Holiday's defense and how of an irritant he can be when he's all up in you and making you make quick decisions. But yeah, I definitely think the emergence, of Bobby Portis and Lopez playing, when Giannis was out showed a lot. They're dominant when they play in the paint, but they're also a decent or a really good 3-point shooting team, so I think that their Achilles heel is them being able to find a balance between the two. When they're scoring deep in the paint, sometimes they tend to go away from that to start shooting threes, but it's a balance that I feel like they have to figure out. But I think that they've definitely come a long way. I definitely think the additions of PJ Tucker, Bobby Portis, Drew Holiday have helped them a lot, on the defensive side as well as in the toughness category. I feel like that was probably one of the biggest things that was lacking from them in the past couple of years. They didn't have a tough player to go out there and do the things that these players are doing for them. On the other side of it, I definitely think Atlanta definitely exceeded their potential. Like you said, we've talked about it before. They have the pieces, especially to go from firing a coach, early on in the season, having an interim coach for this entire playoff run. Even though they have officially, or I don't know if they've officially did it, but they have an agreement to remove the interim tag from Nate McMillan, which was number one, a no-brainer. But I definitely think I agree with Wilson. Like their next thing that they need to focus on is locking up John Collins because everything else will fall into place after that. But they need that man there. But as far as the finals, it's gonna be a good one. It's really just to see who's gonna be a more aggressive team, who's gonna be on. I definitely agree with you, Ray, that they match up well. So it's gonna be a dogfight, and I'm just so happy it's finally here. That we have this, and I'm just ready to see the game at this point.
My take on it also, Connaughton showed up. He had a good game, and Jeff Teague. A lot of people forget that he's on the team. That's your second string point guard when Drew gets tired or whatnot. So they got a lot of veterans that have been there, done that, played big games, and it's gonna be tough. I know I can speak for Wilson on this. We saw the Hawks in their Trae Young's rookie year and came into DC and gave the Wizards all they can handle. The young boys pushed the Wizards, and Vince Carter finished them off. Old Vince Carter, 40, 41 years old. We saw it then. John Collins and Trae Young were both rookies, and they gave the Wizards, who was trying to fight for a playoff spot, all-star backcourt, gave them hell. And they had quality veterans at the time, obviously, like Jeff Green and Trevor Ariza, guys like that been there, done that as well, won championships, and they gave them hell. So we saw it then. We just if they keep drafting well, they're going to be here in no time. You got the point guard, you got the forward. Then they kept drafting well. DeAndre Hunter, Cam Reddish. You know what I'm saying? Then they added Capella and all these guys. And it's just that's what, when you got young pieces and young team, that's what you need to do. Draft well, add key free agents. You don't necessarily need the biggest free agents. Key free agents to come in, help you out. But Bogdanovich, remember Bogdanovich was supposed to go to a couple teams, the Bucks being one of them. He was supposed to go there before he must have Hawks, but something happened with the contract talks. Next thing you know, he ends up in Atlanta. Gallinari, another one. They made key veteran additions to their roster along with drafting well, and in 3 years, they're in the Eastern Conference Finals. And now next year, they're going to be expecting to try to get to the finals. That's what the top franchises do all the time. You see what I'm saying? And you got kudos. You got to give it to them. And it just shows you how things can change. Remember, Trae Young's rookie year, they were lottery. They won 20-some games. Wizards were in the fighting for playoff spots. And look how things have changed. So I'm not shocked. That's why I was kind of irritated that how things went with Lloyd Pierce. You know what I mean? Because it's just y'all got too much talent to be playing like that. And I know guys were hurt at the time. Bogdanovich and Capella were out. But, he had a couple, issues with a couple of the youngest. But still, y'all young. Figure that out. You know what I'm saying? Because how they played when Nate McMillan got the job, you could have easily been playing the same way with Lloyd Pierce and just put the BS to the side. But regardless, neither here nor there. Great job. And I'm not taking anything from Nate McMillan, man. He did a great job. And I felt, honestly, he shouldn't even be coaching the Hawks right now. He should still be the coach in Indiana. I mean, kind of look at the success. I know Indiana looking right now. They feel dumb as hell. So he got the short end out there, man. He did. He just went somewhere else, got an opportunity, and look where they at. Man. You saw they re-up with him quick. Today that was one of the big news. So yeah, I'm not shocked by it. Now you got a problem. These young boys, the only issue I see with them is the ego thing. We've seen young teams kind of hit their stride early, and egos came up. Why is he getting paid over me? Why is he getting the shots? Why is he starting? And then that's what destroys young, promising teams. We saw it with Orlando in the mid-'90s, Toronto with Vince and T-Mac, and we've seen it before. So hopefully that don't happen with this team, and they stick together and they reach their potential. They become a force. You know what I'm saying? Because I love seeing them play, man. But moving on real quick to the finals. Game 1 begins tonight. Probably about to start. What are your takeaways? What do you think will happen in the series? What are your predictions? Start with you, Octavia.
For tonight, I feel like it's a fill-out game, but I still feel like this. It's Suns. They have home court advantage. They have the rest. They have health on their side, and I just feel like Chris Paul is going to take this advantage and try to knock him out, as soon as possible, especially with Giannis coming back off of, missing the last 2 games with a hyperextended knee. I just think that the Suns are going to, come out swinging, and I feel like they're going to be able to pull out and get the win. For the overall finals, I'm calling Suns in 6. I think that I just think that this is their time, it's their year, and I feel like that they're really going to be able to pull it together. So that's what I'm thinking. And shout out to Torrey Craig, who's going to be a NBA champion no matter what.
Facts.
It don't matter who win. He like, I get a ring anyway, but he probably won't take it. But I'm just saying.
Raymond.
I got Phoenix winning the series. As far as tonight, I actually think Milwaukee takes game 1. Just for a surprise factor. I mean, they got it. They got everything going against them, really. With Giannis, his health is in the air. I just think they got a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to try to come in and steal one. So I think they just come out and take this game. But overall, I think Phoenix, they're a well-oiled machine at this point. They're flowing on both ends of the floor. I just think I don't know, man. I just think they got a little too much going for them. I know Milwaukee, they got a lot of good pieces, as we saw. I'm sure nobody expected, Bobby Portis to come in and play where he played after Giannis went down. Cardell, you mentioned Pat Connaughton. Brook Lopez kind of found himself again. But, I think Phoenix has enough to counter that and overtake them.
Wilson.
I'm not doing anything like Octavia with the in games. I don't have that type of confidence for it. But I'm probably going Milwaukee, especially coming off the last series with the depth of their front line. It's going to be tough for DeAndre Ayton because no disrespect to the people that back up DeAndre Ayton. There's a gap between them. There's DeAndre Ayton and not DeAndre Ayton. And the Bucks just got a who's who of bullies on that front line. And obviously the reason I won't put a games into it because, like Octavia said, you never know if they want to take advantage of the fact that they're bigger and stronger in the paint or if they want to try to outshoot you. So I can't control that, so I won't put a number on it. But I like the fact, just for the bullying factor, their physicality, and especially with Drew coming off the Clippers series, no disrespect to the Clippers guards. Instead of a fake tough guy, it's actual tough physical defender. Drew's hell to deal with, so should be fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Bucks. I don't have Budenholzer don't get in his own way. If he, coach to play basketball, so the catering to the analytic part. I got them. They got personnel they can match up with the Phoenix Suns' 3 best players solo. Drew's a different beast. You know what I mean? So Chris Paul got to deal with that on both ends. Chris Middleton's been playing out of his mind, best basketball of his career. So him and Devin Booker are going to kind of match up. I know Jay Crowder's there, but, that's kind of the thing. Obviously, Brook Lopez, you could throw him on, on Ayton. Then you got PJ Tucker, you could throw on Ayton, as first, or Devin Booker. You know what I mean? I mean, look, he ain't tripping either way. If he, look, man, if he can guard him up, KD, he ain't tripping on nobody else in the league. You know what I mean? So, just what it is. And I just think people just kind of, sleeping on the Bucks roster. I don't think they really realize how deep they are, man. Jeff Teague is a former All-Star. He's essentially the 3rd string point guard. You know what I mean? Like that depth matters. You know what I'm saying? And they have more veterans. You feel what I'm saying? Like all up and down the roster. A lot of the Phoenix Suns, they're young. Chris Paul's a vet, Crowder's a vet, but the rest of those guys are young, and this is their first time kind of on the stage, man. And as Wilson said, the inside presence with Phoenix, if you take 8 out, they don't really have none. You got Sard, you got Kaminsky, then you got rookie young fella from the area, Jalen Smith. That ain't gonna get it done against Giannis. I don't care if he is horrible, and Brook Lopez with Portis. You know what I mean? So, if Budenholzer don't get in the way, that's the only thing. Because obviously, no disrespect, I got Monty Williams got the edge with me when it comes to X's and O's and adjustments. Because that's the scary part, because if he get in the way, he can cause something serious. Because it seemed like Monty's willing to make that adjustment the very next play, Whereas Budenholzer, he'll make it after they lose the game. And I'm like, man, you can't keep giving teams games, man. That'll be it. You know what I'm saying? You can't do that. So, like Brook Lopez, he should have been down in the paint a long time ago. He should have been down in the paint against them in the first round. You know what I'm saying? Like, why is he out there being a shooting guard? You know, it makes no sense. Even though he can hit it, but he's a technician on the block. That's 20 and 10 anytime you want. And that adds a whole different dimension to your team, man. Giannis can go out on the perimeter, stuff like that, handle the ball, pass it to him in the post, and cut and set screens, get other guys open, and let him go to work. It's not hard. So, yeah, man, they play to their strengths. I got the Bucks winning, but that's a big F because, you know, sometimes the way they play, man, they make it hard on themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me.
There goes the one time I told y'all. I almost got through it.
That's why when I heard, I was like, "Dang, you almost did it."
I was like 40 seconds away from getting through it too. But like Coach Budenholzer, I have issues adjusting clearly to find the unmute button. So yeah, that's what I'm scared of, man. It scares the you know what out of me. I love the Bucks, but sometimes they'll fix something 2 games later. And you don't got 2 games later against Monty Williams. Like, we saw the wizardry them 2 dudes was doing, the black magic they were doing on the sidelines in the last series. They were adjusting to adjustments mid-play for the next couple of possessions. And now we're going into this. So, again, no disrespect to Coach Budenholzer, but look, man, you better be – sometimes just keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. That's it. Don't mess with nothing. It's really simple. Stick with it. I want to thank y'all for hanging with us tonight, man. We truly enjoyed it again. Got a lot going on. As always, get over to thefocustv.com. Don't forget, Friday nights, DCTV, dctv.org, I believe. 10 p.m. on Fridays. And then just get over to the website to let you to find out when it re-airs on Saturday. Again, y'all have a great evening. Enjoy the NBA Finals. Who knows how everything goes? I don't know what part of the finals we'll be talking about next Tuesday. So tune in there to find out.